One thing you guys will notice that's been in the news a lot lately is government officials taking part in sex trafficking, government officials taking part in human trafficking. Nancy Stopka, this is a woman whose children were stolen by Boulder County, Colorado. She's posting up stuff about, well, the things that I've been speaking about. This one right here is a Kentucky judge who was sentenced to 20 years in prison for human trafficking. The problem with the United States is that people are, well, you're just terrible. You make excuses for victimizing those who can't defend themselves, and then you say that they deserve it. Here's another one from Nancy. Judges reject claim that social workers didn't know lying in court to remove children was wrong. Well, obviously they know that it's wrong. The real question is, why are they doing it? Why are they lying in court to remove children from their parents? The things that I spoke out about before Natalie was killed, before I even met Natalie, matter of fact, these things are starting to come to light, but only just starting. I spoke out about Officer Lolatai before he assaulted 6 more people. I spoke out about Clearview before they killed a man. At Clearview, they weren't trying to help me, they were trying to push me to suicide. They were trying to get free government money. I should have never been in Clearview. I needed help. I needed a safe environment where I could do these things from. I haven't had it. I had disability money coming in. And I had my own place in Nebraska just 2 months prior to Natalie getting killed. Less than 2 months. But Ken and Leah took advantage of my disabilities and my vulnerability. I had to make a choice between living with Ken and Leah or living in Chapel, Nebraska. I made the wrong choice, but at the time it was the right one. Given the information that I had at the time, it was the right decision. Hindsight is 20/20. I can't go back in time and make a decision to stay in Chapel, Nebraska instead. What a lot of people don't want to pay any attention to is the amount of harassment that I had to deal with at the hands of people who were pretending that they wanted to help me. People who never made any effort to actually help. People like Kara Johnson Miles, Danica Garner, and Rochelle Shelley Campbell. These people slandered the shit out of my name. On the internet, in the courtroom, I'm disabled with no means to defend myself. The government in the state of Colorado should have been pressing charges against these people for what they've done to me. Instead, they allowed police to do whatever they want, including stealing evidence repeatedly. I needed an honest day in court, and I need Alicia Bollinger to sit down with me, whether it be in a court of law or down at the local sheriff's department. That woman needs to see the things that people did over her lies. She needs to come forward and be honest. I literally had to break the law to try to get a court date. You know how fucked up that is? How hard I tried to get a court date? How the hell am I supposed to do all of these things that you expect me to do without any money? How am I supposed to get a job just because you asked, when I can't physically take care of myself? when I have no place safe to go. In order for me to function, I need positivity. I need a positive environment. Being excluded is not positivity. Being screamed at isn't positivity. And it doesn't matter who's being screamed at. I'm overwhelmed. I need to be in an environment that isn't full of screaming. Sending me to a hospital isn't going to help. It doesn't remove my reasons for wanting my life to be over. The reasons I want my life to be over is because my life has been hell. No matter how good I am the one punished. What did James Payton get for beating on Jamie? How much time did he get? None. None. He beat on her repeatedly. That's the thing, is that I live in a world of hell. I don't want to be here. Who the fuck would? Oh yeah, those of you who don't have to live it. Those of you who took part in the harassment and threatening and hazing and bullying. Fuck the police. The thing is, the departments that I spoke about and their corruption, it's been all over the news. All over the news. And still, people treat me like I'm crying wolf. Like they did it to other people, but they would never do it to a homeless male who was falsely accused and fucking slandered all over the media. Oh no, they would never do that. And when the cops break the law, their buddies make excuses. Why it's okay. It's not okay. I should have been allowed to write a fucking police report. To have it actually taken seriously and not have it thrown in the fucking garbage can. When I was in the Arapahoe County Jail and I was trying to report about the officers there, those officers brought me back my paperwork. The very officers that I was complaining about brought me back the paperwork and said they weren't going to take it. Same thing happened in Boulder County Jail. That's what happens when nobody's actually in your corner, when they just have pretty words. Oh yeah, Sean, I'm in your corner. Really? Then why didn't you make a fucking police report, Dan Fabert? Why didn't you make a police report, Mandy Hughes? You guys want to be pissed off that I recorded that shit? Well, there's a reason I recorded it. Because it's the truth. People just assumed the worst in me, and I had to depend on my predators for help. Meanwhile, we've got police officers in Arapahoe County and Boulder County raping people and getting away with it. We've got officers in Greeley, Colorado, Loveland, Colorado, harming people for being disabled. We have Clearview in Johnstown, Colorado, victimizing the most victimized people in America for profit. Same thing with the jails. I've been trying to find a safe place for 2 years. I spent most of today already on the telephone since I got up, trying to find a safe place to go and also trying to help people who are in screwed up situations themselves. I need help. I got 4,000 numbers that people want me to call. I mean, I'm already overwhelmed. And they want me to call all of these places again and again and again and again and again. These places that did nothing. Most of these places can't do anything because of what the police and the courts did. Meanwhile, they couldn't do anything before with the police or the courts did either. Most of these places I have to go in person, without the money to do so, without the ability to get there. Because although it's not safe for me to drive, without a vehicle, I have to depend on others to drive me places, and I have to depend on them to be in a good mood, or to not be busy, or to not be overwhelmed themselves. And it's difficult for people not to get overwhelmed when I'm overwhelmed. A lot of you guys, you argue so often and scream at each other so often that it's just every day to you. It's an everyday thing. Whereas me, I stayed away from the yelling. I stayed away from negative people until I hurt my back on my birthday in 2015. And then I just got treated completely like trash because people have expectations of me. Sean, you need to do this, and Sean, you need to do that, without thinking for one moment the roadblocks that I have ahead of me. The human trafficking is nationwide, and there are judges and lawyers involved in it nationwide. There are public pretenders involved in it nationwide. There are police officers involved in it nationwide. And you guys want to pretend like it's just one isolated incident. Well, it's not. Nobody should have to go through the things that I've gone through, and nobody should have to go through the things that Natalie went through. But cops can do all sorts of illegal shit and get away with it if you don't have the money for a civil lawyer. So you have to ask them to have their buddies investigate them, and their buddies aren't going to investigate them. And if you don't have the money for a civil lawyer and you suffer from the same issues that I have, you can't get anybody to listen to you anyway. And that's why assisted suicide should be legal. The bad guys won. You put them in power because you were too cowardly to stand up to them. And then you hide behind your children. Oh, well, I can't do anything about the Constitution because of my children. I have to this for my children, and I have to that for my children. How about you stand up for your children's fucking rights, moron? The Constitution got flushed. If you don't fight for it back, you don't deserve it. But the thing is, your children are the ones who are suffering because of it. A lot of autistic parents or parents of autistic children are dealing with issues that you will never understand because you are too busy hating people who are different. I should have been left alone when I left Virginia. I shouldn't have had my name slandered to the point that I was being assaulted. Natalie, Alicia, and Maddie should have come forward. They're cowards. Danica Garner pretended like she was going to help me, but she didn't. I needed an honest court date, and with all the head games that they were playing, yeah, I threatened to put Alicia Bollinger in prison. That's when Danica blocked me the first time. And then she unblocked me to stalk me on my page. If that's what they're going to call it when I collect information, that's what I'm going to call it for them. The thing is that these people had spies all over my Facebook. These people try to destroy anything that I try to say. These people prevent me from being able to communicate with my loved ones, and I should have never had to use Facebook in this way. I should have been able to go to the police. But the laws are so fucking tainted that there's no such thing as justice. And that's what I'm fighting for. Alicia Bollinger belongs in prison with her father. And I hope she gets it. I hope she understands that there are people like Nancy Stopka who have to go through actual hell, while Alicia Bollinger plays victim and gets all sorts of help because she's young and pretty. Because she's young and pretty, the things that she did to me are okay. Well, I disagree with that. There's a big difference between Nancy and Alicia. Nancy is a victim. Alicia played victim. What did she get out of it? She got attention.